Aye.
Action determined in closed session. A recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days as public record. Pledge of allegiance read by Rosamond. Daddy?
Trinity.
Approve agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the few corrections. On item C, and item C, it's supposed to be August instead of September. C4, there's a correction for well, the second comment is supposed to be step 1 instead of step 2. And then a little further down, there's supposed to be times 2 instead of 1. And then a correction in that you monitor the car's name instead of Valerie.
Thank you. Second, first. All in favor? Members of the public may address the board on any item within the jurisdiction of the board by submitting presentation requests to the secretary. Members of the public are strongly urged not to mention personnel by name and are reminded that they do not have immunity from legal action if personnel are named. The board may limit each speaker to 3 minutes and a total of 20 minutes per topic. People wishing to speak on items that are on the board agenda will be called upon when that item is considered. People wishing to speak on items that are not on the board agenda will be called upon at this time. Since the board generally cannot take action on items not on the agenda, such items will be referred to the superintendent for handling. First on our report that is first one we have is jury football.
First, I'd like to give this to you guys to pass along so you can look at this and the highlighted area, please. I come to you guys 4 weeks into the school year because the board put my son on a behavior contract that you guys were hell-bent on putting him on. 4 weeks into the school year, Garrett still hasn't been asked to sign a contract. Your administration has had the contract, but I was told that he was given no direction as to what to do with the contract. Unacceptable, first of all. So second of all, the contract states, if you look at the top, the contract states for Garrett to be re-entered into Rosamond High School contract. So therefore, I've elected to take my child out of Rosamond High School and put him over at Abraham Lincoln, where he CIF is eligible after he completes 10 practices. I would like to know what excuse the board is going to give me today as to why they're not going to allow Garrett to play football. First of all, I want to commend all these athletes here and all these parents. I'm proud of you. You guys are missing out on 2 preseason games, and you're heartbroken. My son's missing out on an entire year. I'm heartbroken. The contract hasn't been presented to sign to Garrett. We actually had a meeting with a lot of staff at Rosamond High School on the 22nd. Again, the contract was never presented. For a district that wants a contract to be upheld so badly, you would think that they would want us to sign it, or at least let us look at it. I had to go in and ask for this contract. back yesterday. I had to ask for it. I just want to know who's going to give me a straight answer. I've talked to a board member who told me that it was going to be left to the superintendent. Now, if you leave the choice to the superintendent, I don't think you're going to like the choice. Because she's a woman that'll do right by what's right by the kids, not by who's liked or who's not liked. And that's the way it needs to be done. And I would like a straight answer in 7 days in writing. Who is going to tell me why this young man can't play football? Why he's being made to sit back and suffer? When you told him, knowing that you put this policy into effect 4 times, I have on recording, 4 times from your mouth, you can play football, you are eligible, you can play football. How much more are you going to beat him up for what his mother did? Beat me up. I'm a big girl, I can take it. He's a kid. And I've had about enough. And I would like an answer. I'm tired of it being shifted to Miss Hargis. You guys put her in a position, boy have you. She inherited a shit show, and I'm very proud of her. You got somebody in here that will do right by this district and do right by these kids. Finally. Somebody not here with a personal agenda, somebody who's here for these kids. Now let her do her job. Thank you.
Next one is Kern Unified.
Hello, students, parents, and faculty of Southern Kern Unified School District. My name is Trey Netwell. And I'm a senior at Rosamond High School. I'm here to address United Park as well as the tournaments as well as preseason for athletics. So let's just start off with United. United was basically left to die. You guys stopped watering it, and it really took a toll on a lot of people, especially a lot of soccer players that want to train preseason. A lot of us train Tuesdays and Thursdays every single day. This is what United is now. It was really a great place for us to train, have fun, and grow as a family and a team. Since the 5th grade, I've been playing there, and senior year was no exception. Kids that want to go out and play AYSO, play on the playground, sports like that, don't really have the opportunity anymore with this field. That's really all I have to say about that. But when it comes to preseason and tournaments, it's really it took a toll on a lot of the sports here. A lot of these tournaments actually have college scouts attending, which can really make a big factor in somebody's life if you can get a scholarship for something you're good at and you love to do. I love attending every sport event and everything, and taking 2 away from anybody is not the right decision. So if I just wanted to take anything out of this, is just please water United. I miss that place, and give us our games back. Thank you very much.
Next up is Elena, I think.
Good evening. My name is Elena Finch. I'm a junior at Rosamond High School and one of many athletes that participate in several of the sports offered. Myself and many of the athletes have been playing for many years and have put lots of time and hard work into becoming good athletes. On behalf of our Rosamond Burner athletes, I would like to express several points on why tournaments are beneficial for our sports teams. Each year, with freshmen and new players, we need to rebuild a team that can work and play together. Tournaments, games, not only are a time to bond, but provide opportunities to learn how to cooperate with one another, and in turn can build confidence and an unbreakable team spirit. They also help a player and the team with an opportunity to further develop and enhance technical and tactical skills. This is also a time for coaches to be able to experiment with different tactics and plays, which will benefit and help to prepare the team for important league games, making the team more competitive. Tournaments bring different experiences, we play opponents that we would not normally face during the league season, which helps us to see how we compare to other teams. This offers valuable information to go off of and learn from. As a team, it helps us grow through either the highs of wins and the lows of a loss. Another important aspect tournaments have for our team is it affects our seeding in CIF. Our CIF seeding is dependent on playing central section teams. We only play these teams during preseason and tournaments. Therefore, it would be extremely beneficial to ourselves and to our school by being less competitive, and makes it harder to have the best representation of our school. Rosamond High School in the past few years has come a long way with providing many great opportunities to the point where we have had increase in reputation in academics and sports. I hope that wise decisions would be made to ensure that this reputation holds and continues. With this, we petition that you would consider every decision with great wisdom and concern for every student and team. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sean Atwell, parent of 2 children that go to the high school now, but have been a part of the community as long as I can remember. Miss Hargis was a principal for both of them when they were this big. I mean, they were little at this school, actually. So when all this news came down, I've been a coach in the community for as long as I can remember, different sports, softball, baseball, soccer. So it isn't just about my kids, it's about all the kids in the community, because it really affects all the kids in the community. Not just the kids that are going down, but the kids in the future. As you say, this is going to be a long-term thing that's going to affect us going forward, it sounds like. Is that a fair statement? Fair statement. So as we go through this, these financial cuts, just a couple of questions. Why wasn't the community involved in ways that we could also help instead of making these cuts arbitrarily? You know, getting together with your coaches of the schools, of the middle schools, what can we do as a community to help? I know Angela Sanchez, who's not here right now, is working hard to do fundraisers and get sponsors and stuff like that, but we're having to do it on the cuff. You know what I mean? There wasn't really enough time to get together and work together so we didn't cut. Because at this point, I don't think any of us know what's actually cut. We've heard some preseason tournaments, some away games, some sports, other sports. I don't think that's been defined yet, and I think the spring sports haven't even been looked at as of right now, at least to my understanding. Not knowing how much money are we saving by these financial cuts to cut into that deficit, right? I don't think we know that. What is those transportation fees that we are saving by not attending the preseason tournaments and the away games? And is there a way that we could know that we could come up with that kind of money by sport, by team, whatever, prior to those cuts being made, and see if we can make that before just arbitrarily making those cuts. And then as we go forward, what is the plan for the future? What are we going to do as a community in the future? Because like I said, these kids are now, but we've got kids that are at this level, Westpark, that it's going to affect down the road. And what can we do together, because it is a together thing. It isn't you guys, it isn't us, it's all of us. If you see all these student athletes here, I mean, it means everything to them. And the preseason does mean a lot to them. And if you haven't noticed the reputation of our academics.
The 3 minutes are up. Thank you very
All right.
much.
All right, thank you.
Next is Victoria Gomez.
Okay, good evening. My name is Victoria Gomez. I am the junior class president at RHS. I play 3 varsity sports, have a 4.0+ GPA, and take college classes. I'm here tonight hoping that our plea ideas and suggestions do not fall on deaf ears, but with people who really care, want to help, listen, understand, and compromise. As a student athlete, we are held to a higher standard. The expectations of us are always to go above and beyond, work harder and smarter, and keep setting the bar higher, all while representing our school with dignity, honor, class, and respect. Last year, the student body was 44% athletes. If you say we lost 1.8 million because of a 2% attendance drop, then that means athletes who always attend, but we are not allowed to play in our games, bring in $3 million. So I feel that asking for $137,000 isn't asking very much. But if that feels too much, then I ask that we can at least compromise and meet in the middle. Negotiate which ones stay and which ones go, our choice. A suggestion to be equal, allow each sport use of vans for one tournament during their season, then transportation costs are spread equally in compliance with the Title IX plan. Without preseason, I feel more visits to CIF will be harder and almost impossible to achieve. In the past 2 years, preseason has helped all of our teams because the girls soccer team has gone and won CIF twice, and we've had the girls softball team and the boys football team go and compete, and they were finalists in the championship. Thank you.
Next is Wesley.
Hello, I'm Wesley. I am the club president of RHS Robotics, and I'm here representing the robotics team. And the purpose for me being here today is to discuss the transportation access issue that we're having, and basically our wish to not be banned from transport, but have access to transport in order to compete in our competitions. With regards to transport, I know most of it's being cut for saving funds, but it's frustrating that we're still banned from, even though we fundraise tens of thousands of dollars to pay for these fees, so we should be able to go and pay for ourselves. And in fact, on that note, any student organization that manages to fundraise the money to pay for transport should be able to pay for themselves. Also, the whole basis of our entire team, our program, is revolving around us being able to actually go to these competitions. The majority of our funding and sponsorships from like NASA and the Air Force depends on us actually going to these competitions. And without transport to go to these competitions, we can't actually get funding. With regards to going to these actual competitions, there are massive benefits to our students because they actually expose them to real-world engineering STEM stuff applied in a competitive sense, along with being access to scholarships provided by First Robotics, which offers up to like $75 million of scholarships to students who participate in these competitions. You only get access to these scholarships if you actually go to these competitions, which we need transport to go to. And also, our team, we went to Worlds last year. We don't want that just to be a one-off thing. We want to consistently go to the world and compete. And in order to even think about trying to compete at a national level in Texas like we did last year, we need to be able to drive over to Lancaster or to Pasadena or to Armstrong Air Force Base in order to participate in robotics competitions and go to engineering Basically, like, if we're not able to go to these competitions, that's including like sending the football team, they can practice, but they can't go to any team games whatsoever. It's kind of the same situation for us, where if we can't go to these competitions, we can't really demonstrate our abilities to really function as a revised team. And yeah, that's all the topics I want to discuss.
Thank you. Next up is Bob Rosamond.
Thank you. I applaud all the youngsters that got up here. You did well, and keep it up, keep your fight. I'm changing the subject a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, we had a presentation on solar. We all remember that. I went back and I looked at that presentation, thanks to Mr. John Joyce's recordings. I had some serious concerns about what happened with that. And I'm going to tell you why I have those concerns. I have over 27 years of federal government working with contracting officers, working as a contracting officer's technical rep, writing contracts, everything. I'm concerned, based on the information that I heard, that the district is obligated for $6 million. I'm concerned that that is what's going on. And it looks like it was sole sourced, or planning to be sole sourced. Again, I looked at all that. All I'm going to say is that we can't afford a $6 million new obligation to this district in dealing with solar. So I'm going to leave it at that, but I'm very concerned that the district's been obligated.
Okay, next we
I'd like to remark on that.
Hannah.
We're not,
Next we
we're
have.
not taking action, but we're remarking.
Next, the ASB student board member report.
Hi guys, I'm filling in for Michaela Gaddis. Hi guys, my name is Trinity Dion. I'm filling in for Michaela Gaddis. I'm the vice president of ASB. So I'm just going to give you guys a little update on our activities. So this week we have students purchasing yearbooks for $65. It'll go up throughout the school year. Freshmen are now allowed to run for their Class ASB positions, and CSF is starting up applications, and then the fees will be due shortly after. We're happy to announce the 3 underclassmen were accepted into the program as well, which is a hard feat considering you need your eligibilities. It's a hard word. For our sports, we have a promising senior athlete by the name of Abraham Grimes that is being looked at by the major league recruiters. And then we have cross country that just ran at Seaside last Friday, and our volleyball had a victory against Little Rock last Tuesday and a close game against Reardon Mountain this Tuesday to open up their season. Our varsity football team also had a close game against Arvin, and that was last Friday. Tennis also beat Lancaster High last Wednesday, and tomorrow they'll play Vasquez. ASB has been working on our anti-bullying assembly with other clubs, as well as putting together our annual homecoming dance that will take place in October. We've also been hosting several school lunch activities to boost our spirit. And then we also have our National English Honor Society, which just got founded, and we have our first chapter that got opened up. And then that's all I have to report, so thank you guys.
Mr. Adams.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mr. Holmes. I'm the assistant principal at Tropical Middle School. And so I'd like to introduce some of our teachers who are going to be sharing with you a new program that we've introduced at Tropical Middle School, and some of the other sites are also implemented. This is Mr. Meyer, Mr. Cantrell, Ms. Ward, bit about this program and some of the things that we're doing.
So, my name is Mr. Cantrell. One thing that we took from our Capturing Kids' Hearts training that we went to was an Excel model. It's basically a model that we use in the classroom for short conversations, for entire class periods. But the idea with the Excel model is that when we have our students come into our classroom, sometimes the only positive influence that they have throughout the entire day is from us. And we try to make sure that we follow a couple steps that can help us to facilitate throughout that classroom. So we have engage as the first step. That's we are making contact, we're greeting people before we actually start giving out instructions. We are trying to make connections. Explore, we're trying to look for needs of individual students on an individual basis. Communicate, we're trying to practice communication skills, practice them within the classroom, outside of the classroom as well. Empower, the idea that we are teaching skills that are going to be applicable both inside and outside of the classroom, giving them opportunities to practice those. And then finally, launch, we want to make sure that we send off our students with a positive message when we come to our classroom.
Okay. So going back to engage, what Mr. Cantrell was, part of that is as the students come in the classroom, give them a strong handshake and we say hi. And you know, it's okay to fist bump or high five, but we do that in another setting. What we want to do is be professional in the classroom and teach them skills that they would use as they go into a job interview. Under Explore, this is where you really get to know your students better beyond a superficial level. You want to get to a personal level with them. And so what I did this year is I did an activity called 2 Truths, 1 Lie, where each kid fills out an index card with 2 truths and 1 lie about themselves. And then it's in the class. Students get to ask questions, and I'll ask a lot of questions about each one. We read through the 3 statements, and students try to guess which one is the lie. And then we have the student who wrote them tell us which one's the lie. And then we ask these follow-up questions. I'll ask questions, and the students will ask questions themselves. It's a good bonding activity, like where the more you can relate them to each other, the less problems you're going to have in the classroom. They're going to be, especially right at the beginning of the school year, right off the bat, they're going to be a lot more reluctant to say something snarky to each other. They'll stick up for each other more. And I think I'll hand this over to Ms. Ward.
So part of Capturing Kids' Hearts is creating a social contract. It's kind of like your classroom rules. So my class, we went over 4 questions, and it was questions like, how would you like to be treated by your teacher? And how do you think your teacher would like to be treated by you? Questions along those lines. My students came up with these words as we brainstormed. So they came up with being trustworthy, respectful, accountable, cooperative, and kind. And then I came up with track, and then they all signed my social contract, and I made it a bulletin board in my classroom. So every day the consequences are there, and we give a little brief about being kind to one another and being accountable at school. And I can simply ask them, are you on track? And it reminds them of our classroom rules.
I'll just show you quickly. This is a poster chart that lists the 4 questions that help them come up with a social contract. And these are the students. They're filling in their own charts at their desk right now, and right after this part, they broke into group activities to share their answers with each other. And then after that, we have the groups come up with the ideas that Mrs. Ward was talking about on her bulletin board.
It's another example of what teachers were writing in their think more questions. Then I have behavior questions. So instead of saying, why are you not doing the math assignment that I assigned? And you start off with a negative tone when you do that. So trying to keep it positive, you can simply ask, what are you doing? And the student will respond. And then, what are you supposed to be doing? They respond, are you doing it? What are you going to do about it? And then what's going to happen if you break our social contract again? It's just to create a positive atmosphere in the classroom, all tying into the social contract that we created together.
Okay, so with that said, when we were working with Capturing Kids' Hearts, I'm really happy that we were able to experience that, because I believe a positive heart can really drive in any challenge. So if you have too much negativity, who wants to even take a try on anything? So when you build a student up, they thrive for success. Tear a student down, they struggle to get back up. So I was really driven towards affirmations. I loved the message it was sending, the positivity, the feedback. So we know in the education world, students have to strive to meet their academic goals, their highest success. So we need to build that confidence in them. But we tend to forget that these guys have hearts. So we need to build confidence in their hearts as well. So that's why I love affirmations. So flipping is the capturing kids' hearts. So I kind of like, I'm a chief ball in the classroom. A lot of my former students know, so we said, let's go ahead and have a flippin' heart. So, but the point of the flippin' heart is basically to do something positive, give back. So tell a student, hey, good job, or I like your style, I like what you're doing. So on that note, I know it's hard times, whatever, but I know all of you guys have hearts. So I was hoping like maybe you can get an idea of, we can capture your heart. So I made you guys an example of my bags that my students had made. So inside, I wrote a personal flippin' heart for you guys. So hopefully this can enlighten you. So there's a flippin' heart, and I gave you your guys' names, their adjectives. So Yolanda, yours was tough. There's not a lot of Y's up there. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy, and you guys present this. Hey, maybe if you guys are having a bad day in a board meeting, you can pull out your affirmation bags and somebody can give you a flippin' heart. All right, but that's why I love capturing hearts, because we tend to forget. We all have hearts. We all want to capture them. So, you know, that's the kind of message we're trying to send. And I love our slides. I love the positivity we're building.
So we just started the program, but we've already found the positives of it, and we're excited to continue with Capturing Kids' Hearts at TNF. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming this evening again, especially all the kids who came out to speak. I thought you were very eloquent and well thought out, so please continue to do that. It's going to be something that you do throughout life if you want to continue to try to obtain the things that you want. So I think you guys deserve a big round of applause for that.
What David said, but also thank you for coming. And you know, you kids have homework, and bedtime would be probably nice pretty soon. So I appreciate you coming out, I really do. One thing that we hadn't talked about earlier was our fair kids, because we went a couple times, and I'm telling you, the FFA, I mean, they rocked it. They did so well, and I know we had 4-H kids that were doing really well too. So if you participated in the fair in any way, thank you, and congratulations if you did anything. Huh, Hannah? It's a grandma thing, I'm sorry.
up and speak because I'm not a very good speaker, and you guys being able to get up here and talk, that's amazing. It really is. So I commend you. You bring up a lot of very, very good points. Thank you. I like that people are actually involved in coming out, which is really good. We don't have that. The CMS presentation with this new program, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That is, anything positive is always the only way to really teach. Negativity does not teach anybody anything. Thank you, TMS, for the presentation and all your hard work over there. I guess I'll pass that over to somebody else.
Thank you all for coming tonight, and I also want to thank you for our comments and concerns. We are listening, and we just hope that it'll alleviate some of the uneasiness and whatever we all come to. I also want to thank the students for voicing their opinion, and I also want to thank Tropical High School for capturing the kids. I think we've done a wonderful program, and I just hope that our whole district will get involved and we can turn our district around as well. Thank you again for that. And I think next we have our RTA report.
Well, and no matter what my former students might say or what you might experience every 2 weeks with me standing up here, I really am a positive kind of guy. You just don't see it enough. Probably not going to see it much tonight either. I had the opportunity to meet with teachers at every campus over the last 2 weeks. I wanted to answer their questions about the district's financial status, staff reductions, our contract and negotiations, and then any other areas of concern. Along with our contract, which seems to be violated in one way or another on a regular basis now, the two main topics were centralized attendance and extra duty assignments for our paid stipend. About student attendance, there is a direct correlation between centralized attendance being used by the district and a drop in ADA. Teachers believe strongly that site-based attendance creates a better, stronger relationship with parents. This relationship is used for improved accounting of student absences and to increase attendance. Parents will always have a better response to the people they see at their child's school rather than an automated phone call or contact from a person they have never met at the district office. Teachers can also have more effective communication about student attendance with a clerk at their site. Next, we have started to see the posting of extra duty assignments. I greatly appreciate the district opening some essential stipend positions, but others have been disregarded or delayed. While stipend positions just sound like extra pay, they are critical programs that need to be supervised by teachers with state credentials. Department chair positions at the secondary sites were posted, while leadership positions at the elementary sites were not. Class advisor positions at Rosamond High School were posted, but cut in half, without input from the teachers. Positions for math lead advisors for secondary were posted, while oral language, science fair, and spelling bee coordinators at elementary schools were left off. To avoid confusion or question, I have been a math lead advisor at Tropical for many years. I did not ask once for that position to be posted. I cannot imagine why it was made available before positions such as yearbook and others stay on hold. The answer is simple. RTA and RTA leadership is not being included in discussions on how we work together to meet the needs of our students while respecting the rights of our teachers and classified staff. The district is making unilateral decisions and then being questioned at every turn. Teachers are highly paid educated professionals. They deserve to be compensated for their expertise and service. Again, these jobs need to be made available. They need to be filled and they need to be funded. They are necessary in the running of a school and the programs our students deserve. Now on to staff reductions. We've heard a great deal about the layoffs and cutting of hours for our partners in CSEA. In my meetings, I wanted to remind the teachers and the general public that RTA has had significant reductions in teaching positions. At last count, RTA has reduced its staff by 16 positions from last year's. And I fully expect that there will be further reductions in teaching staff next spring when the district can meet its March 15th deadlines. Finally, the most contentious issue facing us, our contract and negotiations. Each board member should have received a copy of the cease and desist letter submitted to the district by CTA on behalf of RTA. This letter was drafted by our legal counsel and cites violations of our bargaining agreement, California Government Code, and the Educational Employment Relations Act. At my last meeting with Mrs. Hargis, I asked that the district's recent proposal for negotiations be withdrawn. At the last board meeting, I asked the board to table the agenda item, and I apologize that I used the wrong terminology. Because it was not an action item, it could not be tabled. As an informational item, I should have asked that the item be removed from the agenda. Either way, in accordance with the cease and desist letter submitted by CTA, RTA requests the district formally remove its proposal for negotiations. The district should then follow the guidelines proposed by RTA and conclude collective bargaining for 2017-18 by having the board vote on our tentative agreement previously reached with the district and ratified by the RTA membership in May. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, you know me and your children and your grandchildren who are in our class, and these students sitting here know that I am all about proper procedure. The district has failed to follow the proper procedure in negotiations since June. I've tried to use my knowledge and experience to guide the board and the administration to no avail. It has brought us to the point of grievances and legal action. And this is not a place I care to be, but it is a situation in which RTA is prepared to engage. Let's get these messes cleaned up so that we can put our focus back where it belongs, in the classroom and with our students. Thank you.
SKUSD report.
Yes?
No.
Sandy says no.
No. Thank you. CBO.
I'd like to start off, I told him I'd do this. I want to publicly thank Quinn Lazat. He came in on a Sunday to the district office. We had a water leak. He took time off of his day barbecuing to shut the water off of DO. If he weren't to do that, there'd be a serious flood at the DO. We've experienced a couple of water leaks. We're not really sure why at the district office. We're working with RCSD to kind of figure out what's going on. We suspect it's a change in water pressure. But if Quinn didn't catch this in time, it would have been serious problems at the district office. I don't know, recently Westpark had 2 rattlesnakes on our campus. We suspect it has to do with the retention basin. We don't own the retention basin. We called Kern County Roads to please come and clean the retention basin out. If you have a chance to look at it, it's an ecosystem in itself. So we asked them to do that as soon as possible. And the retention basin is to the east of here. It's the fenced off area. We just received a contract from RCSD about water adjudication. This has to do with the water rights that we own, and this would affect RHS and irrigation over there. So our attorneys are reviewing the contract at the moment. And finally, Alicia Woods, our executive consultant for food services, she accepted a position with Palmdale School District. So today was actually her last day with us. And we thank her for her service. She's really brought a breath of fresh air in food services. A new person will be starting with Sodexo sometime soon.
Good evening, thank you all for coming. We certainly do not take our cuts lightly, as we have been, navigating our budget situation. Just to clarify, what sports teams were asked to do was to either trim 2 preseason games or find their own transportation. As far as Saturdays, tournaments, weekends, you can go on all those tournaments, but we're asking parents to transport. So those really are the cuts that we've made.
But I do want to invite all of you, with your energy and enthusiasm, to our LCAT meeting. We're going to be having monthly LCAT meetings and fiscal recovery. The first one is going to be next Tuesday, September 11th, and that'll be at 6 p.m., excuse me, and that'll be right here at Westpark. So we have planned them for the year. We'll have them every month. I believe they'll all be on the second Tuesday of the month at 6, but we certainly will get that out to you, except for the month of December. That's a short month, so we thought we would take that month off. But we certainly would like for all of you to come, and your input definitely is always needed and encouraged. So hopefully we will see you out starting next Tuesday.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent items A through L.
I have questions first before we move forward.
Go ahead.
Mr. Abnesian, I have questions on our expenditures, particularly pay vouchers as well as payroll. Were they all anticipated as part of the LCAP budget that you created?
Well, our LCAP budget really addresses supplemental concentration. So some of these items are not part of the LCAP. Like some of them are special ed, which wouldn't be in the LCAP. And some of them are just general operating expenditures.
So they're outside additional funding sources?
It would be just general fund, but not like supplemental concentration funds.
Okay. Anything in addition to what you were originally planning?
No, these are all continuing ongoing expenditures that we planned for. One contract, one of the larger ones, is to contract with the occupational therapist and a registered nurse. We weren't able to hire a qualified person to do the position for the district. And we have to have someone on staff in both positions. And the other one was for maintenance and operation of our copiers. We lease the copiers, but we don't that lease doesn't include maintenance of them. So we're contracting with the company. It's the same rate. The rate has been flat for 3 years now, and the cost has stayed the same. And they provide all the copier owner, plus all the maintenance of all the copiers. And that's at all sites.
Okay. And then two follow-up questions. Are the current enrollment numbers equal to the numbers used in the LCAP plan, as well as what you anticipate for the general fund budget?
No, we have declining enrollment this year. That means we just have less students than we did last year. LCFF allows for hold harmless, meaning we'll still receive the same amount of money we received last year, but we won't get any more than we did last year.
Okay. So we'll at least achieve or receive the funding that
correct.
Yeah. Is that a significant amount below what we anticipated?
It's very difficult to say at the moment. It's too early to calculate ADA. But if we receive what we anticipated from last year, it's about, we were anticipating at least 50 ADA more than last year. But it doesn't look like that's going to come to fruition.
Okay. So the numbers are going to be a little short, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then finally, our ADA, at this moment in time, are we at or below what we anticipated, the 90% number?
It's too early to calculate it, but it's going to be below what we estimated just based on enrollment.
Okay, I'm sorry, the 88%.
Oh, the percentage. Yeah, we'll have a better idea at the end of October. So once the software, we're dependent on the software that the state releases that helps us calculate ADA. Our accountant, Tammy Davies, she monitors it on a daily basis. But it's just way too early at the moment because we have a lot of students on our rosters that either shouldn't have been enrolled in our school district or enrolled in a different school district and just never let us know. So it's called the drop dead date.
Okay. But that would only improve our enrollment
as a percentage, but as far as the overall number of ADA,
right,
it won't help.
So our attendance though below the 100%? So we have no clear vision on this on a monthly basis? Quarterly basis?
Yeah, even if we were to calculate that at the moment, it wouldn't be very reliable. ADA is, so basically we have 180 days of instructional. The state allows us to choose about 170 or 165 of those days to count towards ADA. And so a percentage of those don't count towards our ADA calculation. So P1, that's our ADA based off of the end of October. That's really the first, when we really have a good idea of what ADA looks like. It rarely changes from P1 to P2.
Okay.
So, but we do look at it every day. I don't feel comfortable presenting a number. It wouldn't be accurate, to be honest.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
Second by Kurt? Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
New resolution 18-19-OG, California Energy Commission School Bus Replacement Program.
So there's a grant program through the state. It's for the purchase of possibly up to 10 electric buses, plus the infrastructure to charge those buses. An electric bus at the moment costs about $400,000. These buses that we're looking at are made out of Porterville. They've been on the road for about 10 years. They have a really good track record. The biggest cost with the electric bus is the battery. These batteries last around 7 years for these buses out of Porterville. The grant is based off of the need, it's based off of locality, what the free and reduced looks like. So we have a really good opportunity here to maybe get grant funding for at least 2 buses.
How big are the buses?
The buses range anywhere from 40, you can have a special ed bus with 30 to 40 seats, or up to a transport bus with 92 seats.
On the 90 bus, what is the range?
The range, I think in between charges is about 180 miles round trip, or 180 miles total during the day. Those would be used locally. They're going to be trip buses.
Right. How long is the range last?
I can't tell you that.
And buses that would be feasible. So if you look at it from what.
Yeah, if we had these buses tomorrow, we could use them definitely. They would work with the routes we have. No, and the other thing is a resolution is required for us to apply for this. So,
with regards to the fuel costs, even though they're electric buses and not natural gas or traditional fossil fuels, what is the cost difference between charging those things at night versus fueling them in the morning?
Well, charging these would be much more economical than fueling them. The fuel, we spent almost $110,000 just on fuel last year. So if we were able to charge these, and we already charged some of our buses, and because there's this filter, the carbon filter, that we need to charge the bus, that these buses would replace those buses, and we wouldn't need those carbon filters anymore, or those buses at all. So we wouldn't really see an increase in the cost of power in these buses. The only thing I anticipate is the transformers at the site. They may or may not be able to accommodate the load. That's something we'll need to work with Southern California Edison to make sure that the transformers are capable.
talked about what it was about to administrative, to your head, along with compliments of that. I'm sure there was good about
And the grant does include money for infrastructure, so.
it does.
But is it partial or whole?
That's what we'll need to know, depending on what they award.
We could, obviously, the numbers that comes up, we could decline the awards.
Oh, yeah, we could always say we're not interested.
In that case, I need a resolution that we accept the resolution.
Second?
All in favor? Board meeting scheduled for Wednesday, September 12th, 2018 at 6 p.m. at the unaudited actual due to September 15th, 2018.
So originally, we had the unaudited actual scheduled to be presented today, as we hoped to. But what's been happening is we've been posting transactions from several years ago, audit adjustments, and things that just never took place from 4 or 5 years ago. I've been working with the county on that. So that caused a delay in finalizing the unaudited actuals. The statutory deadline is September 15th to have it submitted to the county. So having these presented and accepted on the 12th meets that deadline.
Motion to set up a meeting for the
Second. All in favor? Aye.
I make a motion that we accept personnel agreement.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Make motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
8:01.